Welcome back, students. As in our previous video, we have talked about the differences between the DNA and the RNA. Now we are going to talk about the detailed structure of DNA. So DNA, it was very first observed by Friedrich Miescher as and he named it as nuclein. Later on, after the advancement of the medical technologies and discoveries of the new sophisticated instruments like microscopes, etc., later on, James Watson and F.H.C. Crick, they gave a detailed structure of DNA, that is the very famous double stranded helical structure of DNA. As we are talking about the double stranded helical structure of the DNA, now further on when we are talking about this thing, what happens that as we are going to talk about DNA is a polynucleotide chain. It is basically composed of two polynucleotide chains. Okay, so when we are going to talk about the polynucleotide chains, first we should describe that what is a nucleotide and what is a nucleoside. So the three basic components of a nucleotide and a are, as I said, the DNA is a polynucleotide chain. DNA is a polynucleotide chain. Okay, and it comprises of several nucleotides which are linked together with 3 to 5 dash phosphodiester bonds. Clear? So what happens that it comprises of several nucleotides and each nucleotide has got three component parts. One is a pentose sugar. One is a pentose sugar, other is a phosphate group, and the third is a nitrogenous base. So we are going to talk about them in detail now. So when we are talking about the very first component of the nucleotide that we are talking about is pentose sugar. That is the sugar moiety which forms the backbone of the polynucleotide chain. Clear? The phosphate group and the pentose sugar together they form the backbone of the polynucleotide chain, and the nitrogenous bases, they are projected towards the center of the DNA molecule. Clear? So the pentose sugar which is used up over here is the ribose sugar, and in this case when we are talking about the DNA, it is a deoxyribose sugar. Clear? Now talking about the nitrogenous bases. The nitrogenous bases, they are of four types, that is adenine, guanine, cytosine and uracil. So these are the four nitrogenous bases which falls under two broad categories, that is the purines and pyrimidines. We have studied the structure of the purines and pyrimidines in detail in our 11th standard, that is from the chapter biomolecules, and we have talked about a lot over there. Even in your chemistry, it is very much given under the heading of biomolecules only, where you have studied it in the organic chemistry. Clear? So we are not going to discuss the structure of the purines and pyrimidines over here in detail. We are just going to move further on. Clear? So pentose sugar, the sugar moiety is linked to the nitrogenous bases to the N-glycosidic linkage. Sugar moiety is linked to the nitrogenous bases through the N-glycosidic linkages. Clear? This forms a nucleoside, the combination of a sugar moiety, that is a pentose sugar, as well as the the nitrogenous bases. It forms what? A nucleoside. This is a nucleoside, and the corresponding, according to, as I said, that there are 4 nitrogenous bases, that is adenine, guanine, cytosine and uracil. So accordingly 4 type of nucleosides will be formed, that is adenosine, or deoxyadenosine. Next is guanosine, not guanine, it is guanosine, or deoxyguanosine. Then third is thymidine, or deoxythymidine. And the fourth is that is cytidine. Sorry, unknowingly I just wrote uracil over here. It is not uracil, it is thymine. In DNA we find adenine, guanine, thymine and cytosine. And uracil is present in the RNA, as I have already told you of in my previous video. So sorry to write it over here, it was wrongly written. Okay, so the next is cytidine or deoxycytidine. Clear? So these are the 4 nucleosides that are formed by the combination of the sugar moiety as well as the nitrogenous bases, that is adenosine or deoxyadenosine, guanosine or deoxyguanosine, thymidine or deoxythymidine, and cytidine or deoxycytidine. So after the formation of the nucleosides, we are just going to proceed up with the formation of the nucleotides. As I told you all, that nucleotide comprises of 3 portions, that is a ribose sugar, then a nitrogenous base as well as a phosphate molecule. So after the formation of the nucleosides, the phosphate group, it gets linked to the 5' end of the nucleoside. After formation of the nucleoside, the phosphate group gets linked to the 5' group of the nucleoside through a phosphodiester bond. So here the formation of the nucleotide has also taken place. Now further on, what happens that two nucleotides, they get linked up through the phosphodiester bond, that is 3 to 5 3 dash 5 dash phosphodiester bond, that is they get connected through the 3 dash end as well as the 5 dash end of the phosphodiester bond is formed between the 3 dash end of one of the nucleoside and the 5 dash end of the adjacent nucleotide, not sorry nucleoside, it is the nucleotide. So here as such, what happens, a long chain of polynucleotides, several nucleotides, they get attached with one another through the 3-5 phosphodiester linkages and they form polynucleotide chain. So after the formation of the polynucleotide chain, we are going to talk about the structure of the DNA molecule. So according to the FHC Crick and J.D. Watson model, J.D. Watson and FHC Crick model, the DNA molecule, as I said you all, that it is a double stranded helical structure. This is 3 dash end, this is 5 dash end, this is 3 dash end, this is 5 dash end. Here A double bond T, C triple bond G, G triple bond C, T double bond A double bond T, T double bond A, C triple bond G and G triple bond C, T double bond A double bond T, T double bond A double bond T, G triple bond C, C triple bond G. Clear? So you can see this is the structure of the DNA molecule. Here the dimension of this is 20 angstrom and the distance or the length of one such a twist is 34 angstrom, and the distance between two nitrogenous base pairs is 3.4 angstrom, or you can call it the nanometers also. It's given as nanometers in your book. So again, talking about this double helical structure, now we are going to talk about the double helical structure of the DNA. That is, DNA comprises of two polynucleotide chains, as it is a double stranded structure. DNA consists of two polynucleotide chains. You can see it very clearly over here that two polynucleotide chains, they are present over here. Clear? These polynucleotide chains, they are anti-parallel to each other. These polynucleotide chains are anti-parallel to each other. Means one of the strand, it is running in 3 dash to 5 dash end direction, and the other strand, it is running from 5 dash to 3 dash end direction. That is, both the strands, they are running anti-parallel to one another. Clear? That is, they are running in the opposite direction. Though they are parallel, but they are running in opposite direction. Then third, these are twisted and helically coiled around a central axis. As you have seen the iron ladder, you must have seen nowadays outside the shops and all, there is one central support that is made up of the metal, and the iron ladder, it is found twisting around it. So in such a manner, the DNA molecule, it is also helically coiled around the central axis. Means it is twisted around its own central axis. Then here the sugar and the phosphate molecule, they form the backbone of the polynucleotide chain. Sugar and sugar and phosphate group forms the backbone of the polynucleotide chain. Next, I said that the backbone is made up of the sugar as well as the phosphate molecule. Then what about the nitrogenous bases? These nitrogenous bases, they are projected towards the center of the molecule, and they they are not in the hanging condition, but they are found forming the base pairs having specific base pairing. So the nitrogenous bases are projected at the center of DNA molecule. Now, as I have said that the nitrogenous bases, they are projected at the center of the DNA molecule. These nitrogenous bases, they form base pairing, specific base pairs. That is, adenine, it gets linked to thymine, and guanine, it gets linked to cytosine. That is, one purine gets linked to another pyrimidine, and vice versa. That is, another pyrimidine is going to get linked to the purine. The bases forms base pairs of specific types. That is, the purine gets linked to a pyrimidine. There is a reason behind that, because as you have studied the structure of the purines and pyrimidines, that one is double ring structure and the other is a single ring structure. So accordingly, they are linked to one another so that the diameter or the dimension of the DNA molecule remains the same all throughout its length. Okay, so adenine gets linked to thymine by a hydrogen bond. All these bonds are hydrogen bonds that are present between the nitrogenous bases. Adenine gets linked to thymine by a hydrogen bond, and cytosine gets linked to guanine through hydrogen bonds, hydrogen bonding. And again, the bonding pattern is also of the specific type, that the hydrogen bonds, 2 hydrogen bonds are present between adenine and thymine, and 3 hydrogen bonds are present between guanine and cytosine. 2 hydrogen bonds are present between adenine and thymine, and 3 hydrogen bonds are present between the cytosine and guanine. Next, the length of one such turn is 34 angstrom, and one such turn, it consists of 10 base pairs. Therefore, the distance between the 2 adjacent base pairs is 3.4 angstroms. The length of one turn is 34 angstrom. Since 10 base pairs can be written as BP, 10 base pairs are present in each turn, hence distance between adjacent base pairs will be, base pairs is 3.4 angstrom. Okay, then the diameter of the molecule is 20 angstrom. Is 20 angstrom. So this is the detailed structure of DNA that we have discussed over here. Now in our next videos we are just going to talk about why DNA is chosen as the genetic material by living organisms during the due course of evolution and further on. Till then, thank you.